Another month, another issue. Okay, so I realized that in these days I am struggling with focalization. My brain cannot really focus on something. So it's been a little bit here and there. I think it's one of the reasons why I ended up making also the past month things here and there. And the thing is though that if there's things I can do it on the machine or are quick to do, I can finish them so I feel a bit more, at ease. Otherwise, some things I then need to do by hand. And by doing it by hand, I need to put on the bag of the things to do by hand. And I see this bag grow and grow, even though theoretically it should reduce a little bit. So I decided that I need to kind of breathe for a moment, and I actually need to finish the things that I have to do. I On the Celtic thing, we had a pattern, a design for the other people's costume. It's going to be more of a cape, and I already added the lace, I painted it, and I did some folding in the closing. So when it closes, the folding is a bit more organized, so it flows very nicely. And then we need to work on the button and then the details. It's also going to be painted as the black dress, but the design is probably going to be a little bit more tame because this one is a very simple closure. So, but we'll see. And then I have this red shirt, which I got inspired. I wanted one for a while, so I started doing it. The issue is that this is a tablecloth and the fraying is a mess. I hate that. I really do. But I already started. I do think the color is lovely, and I do think because of the material, it's very breathable. So that's also what I wanted to use this material. So I have to basically finish the arms attachment, and also I need to figure out how to do the color, but I need to do this by hand. I already did as much as I could on the machine, but for the rest, I need to do it by hand because, again, I need to be very certain that the fabric is not fraying everywhere. And when it comes to the other things, I still have things that I need to finish. So what I decided is that if I get the itch for making something new from scratch, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to put it on the DIY book. I'm going to place it there and in a way kind of create the project without actually starting the project. So we'll see how that's going to work in at least allowing me to not feel like I am overwhelmed by adding stuff without finishing the other things. We'll see. I made stuff. More than anything, I organized stuff. So today I decided to take out the machine and do as much as I could, as much as I needed to do on all of the projects that I had laying around. Once I did everything I could on the machine, that leaves me with everything I need to do by hand, which is all of this. It is big, I know. But it shouldn't be as big. It's more about details and closing stuff and things like that. What I also decided to do was to basically write down on these post-it notes, first of all, the Celtic project, in which I already, again, I'm finishing almost sort of. I need to do all of the details. I decided to add some details here and there and to go forward with some extra stuff, and that's what I need to do. I also decided to go back to the Snow White dress because I figured out I had an issue because I had a doubt in regards to something, and because I wasn't certain, that kind of slowed me down for a lot. But I think I figured it out, and because I figured it out, I think then I can move on, and I have a few details that I want to work on the pieces. And last but certainly not least, I have a little bit of random projects here and there, some of which I began and I did not finish, some of which I have been on my to-do list for ages, and that it did not take that much, honestly. Again, I took up the machine, I did half of the work, but I need to finish. So all of this by hand because maybe I could do it by machine or faster, but I don't know how. So I know how to do them by hand. And that's why we have the bag. These should be the things that I do on the next days, weeks, on the next month even, because I'm quite happy that I have everything organized, that I know that I don't need to take out the machine. That already gives me a lot of ease. But of course, there's a couple of days that I know I'm not going to be home at all during the day, and there's all the things that happen. So I'm trying to just take it as, okay, this is my to-do things. And if maybe I'm overwhelmed with one, then I have all the things. So just to change, but at least still go on. Hopefully it's going to work, and if I do something interesting, I'll try to show you. Okay, so I have not been working as much as I thought because So in the terms of the Celtic one, I have been putting the green string on the golden detail. I did it all on the upper part, as you can see, but there is the down part, which is huge because it's a cape. Look at this. It's all of that. It's taken longer than I remember. So I'm a little bit, kind of taking it slowly, but at the same time, I'm trying to, move on because I need to finish it. I did the black string on the sides like I did on my dress, and I'm liking the golden string that I'm gonna add later on because the green one, because it's so much. I think it's better if I finish that so I can feel like I am moving on. That's the Celtic one. In regards to the Snow White, there has actually been updates. Like I talked already, there's the jacket, but I want to add some extra details of the closure before showing it to you, because that way, instead of being, separated, I can explain to you the whole thing. The inner part still has to be done, but that takes, I know it takes a long, so I'm kind of procrastinating it. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it's not as fun, let's say, but it is necessary in this case. And then we have the skirt, which I have been doing the closure, the usual stitching on the inside so it closes fully. I did one side, as you can see here, and I wanted to do this because once I finish it, all of the pins can be gone and the skirt is ready to put on enough easily. Then I also did other stuff, like I'm not gonna show you too much, but I did other stuff here and there because it's not just about projects and things like the costumes, but it's also about my everyday clothes, let's say, that some of them I have fixed, some of them I have, checked out. Do I wear this? Maybe if I don't, how could I wear it? And also I made again some stuff. So I want to wait, fully finish things, and then show you the final things. But for now, it's been okay. Hopefully, I can do a little bit more in the next couple of days, but we'll see. Hello, let's catch up with some of the things that I've been working on. It's not the end of the month, we still have a couple of days left, but I want to, catch up. Starting with household related things, let's call them. So we had this thing, which I don't have the before picture of anything because of course I do not think this through, but this is for ironing, the thing that you put in order to protect the tables, and it was really in a bad condition. So we had this fabric and I just put it over it. It was a very simple thing, couple of hours, because you do the whole thing around it, and then that you can see here in the back you have these lines. This is in order to fully attach the fabrics. When you do this type of thing, here in this case it is over, doesn't matter. You see it in certain coats where when you have thick pieces of fabric usually and you want them to stay in place, you do an internal stitching, but it's not very, you don't see it, but it is there in order to attach it. That way the fabric over it, it's not moving. And in this case, because it is for ironing, well, that's kind of useful. Okay, next thing, I am actually wearing it. You cannot fully see it because of course the camera is limited in a way, but I'm wearing pants. I have the version that I made for my Barbies because that way I can see how it might be made, so when I do it on myself with my measurements, I am slightly more certain about what I'm doing. I saw this picture on Pinterest probably, and I thought that was lovely, and I thought it would be a very nice try it out for a pair of pants. I've never made pants. Usually I think they are terrifying. So I made this, and then I decided to, okay, I think I got it, and I made this pair. It wasn't perfect, of course, it's not a perfect, but I'm quite happy with what I did. And it also allowed me to kind of understand a little bit better proportions and things like that. As you can see, it is a very simple thing. It's a very interesting cone shape. And basically, one of the reasons why I love it is because it seemed that it did not have zippers or any particular, attachments, which it's not easy, let's be honest. So let's put it this way. Here is open, so fully open, you can get in and out. And here, the only thing that closes like fully is a button. There's just one button. Closing it, it's fully attached on my measurements. And then we have this extra piece. I attach this cord all the way here to the end, and on this side half. Why? Because to fully close it, this one here this one over, and then I just close it, and that's it. I thought about adding pockets on the back, but then I would turn it into very heavy. And the main point that I want to do these pants is because during the summer days, usually when you go out, it's quite hot, and because most of my things are black, it's an issue, with a lot of sun. But also, I like the long pants because mosquitoes eat me. So at least I have full fabric. This is actually thin fabric. Sorry, thick fabric that is going to cover me, and but also at the same time it's breathable and it's going to protect me. So I wanted to try it out, and I thought, why not? Okay, next move on with the projects. I did most of the Snow White skirt. The only part that I'm missing is this, because I can't find my yellow thread. I made this whole thing in basically pearl color because it's fine, it's not going to be seen. But in this part here, because it's going to be seen, I need the right color and I cannot find it. Also, I did one side with the sewing machine to close this thing. I need to do it also on this side, but I'm also considering of the length because it's kind of useful to really place it, but at the same time I need to really think if it is worth having this much fabric, because the thing is, including with the pants or with anything, you need to think also about it when you're going to wash it. More fabric you have and more seams and closings and things, that's going to take longer to dry and it's going to become heavy. So these are all things that I've learned that I need to think about. If it's the amount of fabric I can take off, it's possible. So, for future me. The cape, as I told you, it's going. I still need to do the green one, but my hands were hurting. So I had to stop. But I wanted to show you a little bit. As you can see, I added some of the designs here. I added this button and also, the lines here. This is the circles that I added. And again, I'm missing this part because I was kind of resting the hand because it was really hurting. And then I wanted to leave this part for the last because I'm kind of excited. Still need to figure out some things, but I still wanted to show you. So this is the jacket, let's put it on. The question was, how am I going to close this thing? And I come to the conclusion that I really like me some buttons. So I attached this extra piece of white internal, which is white because the inner thing is going to be white. So it gives you that idea that it's all on side, like it's not, it's not related with the jacket. It hidens, the closing well. 5 buttons, and just like that, it is closed. As you can see, I also added these. This was a lacy thing that I had running around that I painted with the golden paint, and then I added these bells. As you can see, we have this big one on one side because the idea is that, when it is closed, and then I need to figure it out. I still don't know exactly how I'm going to keep it down. We'll figure it out later. At least I know how to close it because it was something that I was kind of struggling with, because when I was putting it on, I was like, I cannot see the full thing if it doesn't close. And now, ta-da! I'm quite happy with how this is going. I also now need to kind of again figure out the closing, but I also need to add lace. I'm gonna add lace all the way here as well as here on the down part because I want this. The jacket, I think, of all of the pieces of this costume is going to be the most rich in details. So I'm actually quite happy and excited. I actually did this last night, so I was so happy. I was like, yes, tomorrow I can put some things together. I'll show it to you. Let's see what else can I do by the end of the month. Yay! The end of the month has fallen upon us. May is over this year. It's such a weird year, but anyway. Some of the news is that the Celtic costume, especially the black fabric, well, most of it, that was the last thing that I was working on. I did most of the things, but there are a couple of details that I haven't finished. However, I have decided that I'm going to push it away. Why? Because I'm not going to be wearing that in the near future. That's going to be in a few months. And the thing is that I have other things that I might use in more recent times. So I feel like that's where anxiety kind of works for me. If there's something that I want to wear for a certain occasion, then that anxiety kind of pushes me to do more than if I just have to finish something in a very generic way. So the Celtic one, it's on the back, it's away at the moment. The Snow White, however, it's there, and that's one of the ones that I want to really work in. And I've decided to divide it into, the classic, the shirt, the jacket, and the skirt, and maybe then later the details of, the hairpiece and accessories, as well as the cape. That's going to be the last thing. But by dividing it into those three things, the shirt, the jacket, and the skirt, then I want to fully get into it, considering that this is a project that is going very much into detail. We're going out, we're doing maximalism basically, but I need to fully focus on one, because before the tendency was to, I need to make everything kind of fit together. Now that I know it fits, then we need to move on. Also, there are certain things that here and there that I'm not 100% convinced, so I need to figure out how do I gonna fix it, or how do I get into a point in which I am like, yes, this is it. But that's not all. And actually, not only does my DIY book comes here into stands, but also other random papers, because I have projects for a very special occasion. There is a possibility, it's not certain yet, it's probably going to be certain at the last moment, but there is a possibility that I'm going to visit a festival in August. It is it's down in Italy, it's kind of in the center of the country. It's a Celtic fantasy festival. I'm really, really excited to go. We might stay again. If we go, we're going to stay a couple of days. And I already getting so excited, and I wanted to kind of prepare for each day, because some of the people that I'm going with, they have been there before. I have never. It's my first time. And considering I want to go all out. So I have begun to kind of understand a little bit what do I want to bring, and also the styles and aesthetics that I want to bring, which is kind of what I've been working on. In part, of course, things that I already have. It's not that I'm going to do full outfits for every time, but there's a couple of things that we wanting to work on, and this is the perfect opportunity. So it's not going to be just the outfits. Yes, some of the things I want to work from scratch, but all the things are going to be more like accessorizing, and again, adding the details. Sometimes that is what does the most, actually. And of course, I want to bring you in the journey with me, because even if I don't go to the festival, even if it doesn't happen, I still wanted to show it to you because I think it's lovely. I think it's one of those other things that allows you to just get creative. And with that being said, I also wanted to say that on this blog, I've noticed, because of course I just realized this after ages, that I mostly focus on sewing and doing things like that. But I want to say that I like to do many other things in terms of creativity. So I might probably start adding more of that. And also, I'm gonna try to explain a little bit more what I do, because I feel that sometimes I just do it and then I'm just like, okay, I just finished it. I did not really show you. So I'm gonna try to do that. And so by reducing the amount of things that I do, so it's going to be the Snow White and again the festival outfits, then that might be more contained, and that might allow me to maybe explain it a little bit better. I'm actually quite excited, and also the sun is out. You can start feeling the air of summer, so that makes me even more excited. So at the end of this month, I feel okay. Yes, I could have done a little bit more, but at the same time, I did some stuff, and things change again. Life, sometimes you have more time, sometimes you don't really have that much time, and it's fine. It's fine. I say it for you, but I also say it for myself. Remind ourselves that that's how life is. But the important is that, at least with what I did, I'm actually quite happy with what I did. And we're just gonna see the next month how it goes. I hope your month went better than mine, hopefully. If not, it's fine. Again, I hope that you are at least okay with what you did. So yeah, May is over. See you next month.